All praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and labour in this word and doctrine, and peace to the elect man, woman, and child, scattered across the four corners, and peace and honour to the brothers pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Alright, so this is from the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. It said Trump impeached for inciting US Capitol riot. I believe this woman on the screen there is Nancy Pelosi. We'll probably make mention of her. But let's get into this article, brother. It says, watch your moment. President Trump was impeached for the second time.
The nays are 197. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
And there you have it. The gavel comes down. The motion has been adopted. Donald Trump has been impeached.
So the motion has been adopted. Alright. It says, bro, I'm obviously awake. Salahia. It says the US House of Representatives has impeached President Donald Trump for incitement of insurrection in last week's Capitol riot. 10 Republicans sided with Democrats to impeach the president by 232-197. But his trial in the Senate will not happen until after Joe Biden, a Democrat, is inaugurated as the new US president next week. And this could be, speaking as a man again, but this could be a whole reason that all hell breaks loose, if it's not already. There's some people who sincerely believe that if Mr. Trump is not let in, that it's the end of their world. And same way on the other side. So I guess we should just wait and see. It says Mr. Trump, a Republican, is the first president in US history to be impeached twice. The Democratic-controlled House voted on Wednesday after 2 hours of impassioned debate as armed National Guard troops kept watch inside and outside the Capitol. Salahia, that was meant to say the Capitol. So the FBI has warned of possible armed protests planned for Washington, D.C. and all 50 US state capitals ahead of Mr. Biden's inauguration on 20th of January, which will be in 6 days. And the MSM, the mainstream media, did make mention of it, about basically promoted it, even though it was a so-called deterrent. But if you put that up and someone's already headed in that direction, it's only going to spur them on. You tell them, oh well, you lot and your like-minded people are going to do that, then of course certain people's spirit is going to be it's going to be riled up. In the video released after the vote in Congress, Mr. Trump called on his followers to remain peaceful without mentioning his impeachment. Violence and vandalism have no place in our country. No true supporter of mine would ever endorse political violence. And what was violence or vandalism? Make we check them words. See if there's anything to do with Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America. Violence. In fact, the rest of the word violence, it says late 13th century, physical force used to inflict injury or damage. When did that happen? In America's history, was it built upon violence at all? A violation? Okay, and what was the other one? Vandalism. Well, a vandal? That's actually funny. What is a vandal? willful destroyer of what is beautiful or venerable, from Vandals, name of Germanic tribe that sacked Rome in 455. So was there a tribe that sacked anything in America, that came over and completely pillaged, raped, robbed and murdered a whole people's country, nation, tongue? Well, anyway, it says him say he has no place in our country, in we country. He doesn't now, because you've enacted both of these moves to the point where it no longer has to be enacted, because the power has been kept and maintained to a point where people know if there's pushback against it, that will happen. But it's now it's lawful and it's just. He said, striking a somber and consolatory tone. Yes, anyway, let's continue in the script. So Matthew 11 and 12, and from the days of Yahanan, John the Baptist, until now, the kingdom of heaven, aka the children of Israel, suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. So who were the violent in the days of John the Baptist? Would it not be that same way rulership? Psalm 55 and 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. He was at the violent vandal. It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. It says, cast thy burden upon Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. He shall sustain thee. Let me read that again. Cast thy burden upon Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. And the righteous, it would be the elect. But if you go into it deeper, it would be Israel. So what does Israel mean? Yashara. What am I about? Yasharala. I was struggling to remember how to say my own nationality. Yasharala. He, Prince, power. He, Prince, God, as they say, or Gut. It's a German word. That's why we get triggered by that word. Obviously, we may read it when we read it verbatim, but there's so much more to the word God than English. The English language does justice for. Anyway, justice, and righteous American rule. Okay. There's one. No, I've lost it. There's one more I had. We'll just get this, man. What happened in Deuteronomy 28:68? It says, and the Lord Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and they shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So where is Egypt? Egypt again with ships. You got Revelation 11 and 8, and it talks about, well, where is it? Number 1. What does it say? Am I tripping? Alright, what? Hold on. Okay, I'll just get straight to the point. I can't even remember what I was trying to look. Revelation 11 and 8. And the dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Which that spiritual city be the same, none other than that great hall. Revelation 17 and 1 through 2. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had 7 vials, and taught to me, saying unto me, come hither, I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great hall that sitteth upon many waters. The waters, if you read verse 10, or where is it? 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the hall sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. The same one, well, read 2. with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth be made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And wine, that's going into a doctrine or an ideology. Why? Because you're not thinking soberly, but rather your mind's being changed. Because you would have strong drink. So Habakkuk 2:5, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people, even that water. And what was I thinking? Psalm 49, then we'll hit some certain key points in 2nd Ezra's and close out, Lord willing. Psalm 49:11, the inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. America Vespucci. Right, 2nd Ezra 15. And well, here we are. The sword, famine, death, destruction. 2nd Ezra 15:11. But I'll bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. And that's why it's known as spiritual Egypt and Sodom. Because the 5 cities, mainly Sodom and Gomorrah, went out in like manner. Yo, that dog. Chill. Smite Egypt with plagues. It says as before, because this is Egypt again. And then 2nd Ezra 15:17, a man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity on his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Verse 21, like I said, do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also, and recompense in their bosom, thus saith Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. 2nd Ezra 15:16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invaded one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So however it goes down either side, left, right, red or blue, there's going to be another side with heavy opposition. So pray to endure and the faith to be delivered out of this. Pray that was edifying. All praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi.